Good evening, guys, and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. This little fella, he got back from the vet today, and he has not. He was maybe, I know. He's like, are you really talking about me right now, Kayla? You're looking at me. Hi, buddy. He did not end up doing as well as Bravo. Also, too, like, post-vet, like, Bravo was... Hi, Charlie. Bravo was, much more, like, Charlie, it hit him, like, really hard, I feel like, afterwards, like, just drained him, and he has been very tired and like just very lazy, I think, just from the experience, and then also too from getting his shots. But like Bravo just didn't, like, it just didn't seem to really affect him like afterwards. Whereas I told you guys, like, Bravo was more like he froze, like, in the vet, like, and, you know, like, didn't, you know, just, like, the vet was, like, at one point looking at his eyes, because we mentioned, like, that he has kind of some, like, drippy eyes a little bit, and so at one point the vet's, like, trying to look in his eyes, and he just kept, like, moving further away like that. Whereas today, Charlie, while the vet was looking at him, just, he was trying to climb away from the vet and like was like moving around, whereas like Bravo just stood there and froze and would just be like, nope. Charlie's like trying to like scratch and claw his way away from the vet. So yes. And then another thing that I told you guys was a problem that we have with Bravo, that we got a recommendation from the vet as to what to give him. They have, I think it's called Gland X, which is something that the behind gland from actually releasing some very, very smelly stuff. And that happened to me, on me, yesterday at the vet. Bravo did that, or not yesterday, on Tuesday when we took him. And he got that all over me. Charlie has never done that. However, he was so scared today when they took him. So like they do the exam like in the room with you, and then they take them in the back to get their shot and like do their nails and everything, and I think to like do the blood draw, which we already got Charlie's back, and he is good. Everything's good. There's no, like, they did a heartworm test and something else, I think. So he was all good with that, and they trimmed his nails apparently during the nail trimming, which we told them again too. We were like, they hate their nails being touched. That's when Bravo got, like, we brought a muzzle with, because when we've tried to do that, they squirm, like, have growled at us, like, you know, so we were like, just to be on the cautious side, you might want to use this while you're doing their nails. And so they did have to for Bravo. They didn't for Charlie, but like I was telling you guys, he was apparently just freaking out, trying to get away from them doing his nails, and like, you know, he was like, he ended up peeing, and like I said, he ended up letting loose the other the other stuff from his behind as well, which, like I said, smells horrible. So the technician ended up like bringing him back in, and it was someone different than we saw with the guinea pigs and that we saw with Bravo. So he ended up bringing him back in, and he was like, I tried to clean him up the best I could, but he ended up, you know, like, he was in it and he smelled. And so I told you guys I had planned on already giving Charlie a bath when we got back, because I did that with Bravo because he smelled so bad. And because they just kind of needed a bath. And so I was like, well, maybe I will give it to Charlie before we go. I was like, because, like, you know, again too, probably nothing too bad's gonna happen. No, he needed it when he got back, so it was a good thing I waited till after the vet. And then he got a bath today as well, which again too, I thought Charlie was going to be worse in the bath. He was, but I had the smart idea of leaving his harness on him and actually like tethering him, I guess, to the like the handle in our shower, where I didn't have to with Bravo, because even though Bravo was like trying to get out, he never tried to like jump out at me. Like he was trying to get out the outside of the bathtub, like the surrounded part with the like walls on it. He was trying to climb up on top of that part and to like, I don't know, get out or just get out of the water or something like that. So he was trying to do that. Charlie, like I said, today I think he was just so tired too. He just ended up giving in once he realized like I wasn't gonna let him out and he couldn't get out. Like I said, I used the leash and just, you know, hooked it up to the shower, to the what's it called, the handle in the shower, and then he couldn't squirm away really, and then he just, like after the first like 30 seconds he just stood there and was pretty much frozen for the most part. And at one point it seemed like he actually kind of liked being in the bathtub, because then he kept wagging his tail, and I was like, is this a nervous tail wag? Because I couldn't tell because his tail was also soaking wet. I was like, or is this a I'm actually happy? But like he kept looking at me like, and like his ears were all perked up, and like he kept wagging his tail. So I was like, I actually think you're kind of enjoying this. And I think I told you guys too, like Bravo kind of warmed up to the fact of taking a bath as well. And so I don't know, they were both actually did better in the bath than I expected, but I feel like Charlie, I don't want to say Charlie did worse at the vet, but he freaked out in the car. And then on top of that too, when we were in the vet's office, like Bravo just stood, like sat on my lap and like clawed onto me, like didn't want to move. And so, but Charlie is like trying to get away. He's trying to get away from us. He was trying to climb out the window at one point. Like they have like windows in the waiting room. We were sitting like behind like the chairs, and then the window was behind us, and he was actually trying to climb up my mom out the window. Like there was 2 times he got up to the window ledge, and we were like, no Charlie, we're not, like you can't go outside. So I think he had way worse anxiety than Bravo did. Bravo just shook the entire time, and like I said too, we knew that kind of like, you know, his smelly behind was going to come into play, and it did. But we didn't think that was going to happen with Charlie. And so yeah, he also got a bath, so he's nice and fresh, but he is like completely pooped. Like when we got home, like I said, he just has not wanted anything to do with anything. Like he's just been laying around. Like he seems like he's very mad at me and my mom for making him go, because like he just like doesn't seem happy with the 2 of us either, which though it's funny because I told you guys he's much more food motivated. Like Bravo at the vet, he was so frozen that he didn't even want to eat a treat. Charlie, while in his freak out state of trying to, like I said, get off the table and like crawl around and like was trying to get away from the vet and all kinds of stuff, in all of that he was still eating cookies. Like the vet ended up giving him some, and he was, you know, like actually eating them, which he didn't want to take them from the vet, but when the vet put it down like on the table, he was eating it. So I was like, okay, you know, and he kept him distracted enough. But yeah, like I said, he did not have a good time either. I think it was more traumatizing and more scarring for him than it was for Bravo though, because like once Bravo got home, he was fine. Today Charlie just seems like I don't know, he maybe has a really good memory too, but it just seems like he knows and he's mad at us, and he you know, he remembers the very traumatic experience that he had from today. And so like I said, he has been very lazy though, and I don't know, like I said, what in part to that, you know, how much it has to do with how much anxiety he ended up having over the vet today, or if it was also too from, again, his shots and blood draw and all that kind of stuff too that he had, that kind of is making him a little, you know, a little more out of it, I guess. But like I was saying, it's just weird, like the difference between him and Bravo, because Bravo came home, and again too, I didn't notice anything different with him. Like he probably forgot that he was even at the vet, like, you know, a few hours afterwards. Charlie's like doesn't forget, like he remembers things, and things you make him do and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, I feel bad for the little fella, but he's nice, he's fresh, he's clean, he's fluffy, he smells good. He also got a brushing too, because he, even after I took him out of the bathtub, which you guys should have seen, there was just a layer of dog hair over all the water in the bathtub. And so then when I took him out, there was still, and I tried to like actually brush through his fur sort of while he was in the tub, but then when he got out, there was still, he was like shedding so bad. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and brush you again. I thought Bravo was gonna be worse, but Charlie seems like he was actually worse as far as like fur goes and hair, like all over the place, whereas Bravo's hair seems, and like his fur, his coat seems thicker than Charlie's. Like, I don't know. So but I didn't brush him before, whereas I had brushed Bravo the day before we went to the vet. I didn't brush Charlie because his fur, like I said, just didn't really look like it needed to be brushed, but I guess it did, because like I said, what ended up coming out in the bathtub, there was just layers of hair. So he got that done today. We're taking Bliss a week from today, so she's going next Friday. And Matthew's coming home because last time she was taken to the vet, she refused to get onto the scale. She was so scared of it. We tried coaxing her. We even tried kind of like scooping her up onto it. At one point, I think we did finally have to lift her up, but I think it took my dad and Matthew to actually get her on top of the scale. So if that's the case, again, it's going to probably have to be me and Matthew. The difference is, though, is I noticed that the 2 times, again, well, I guess 3 times now that we've been to this vet, they actually have a rubber mat over the, like, scale, whereas at the vet that we took Bliss to, they didn't. It was just, like the metal part, and so she was so scared of that because it was, like, slippery, so she kept slipping on it, so she didn't want to get on top of it. So when we finally ended up getting her on top of it, though, then she was like, she wanted to get right off. I remember her like slipping or something like that to get off, but this one has a rubber one, and so I think that she'll do better with it, and she might actually just step up herself. But like I said, the other place, she did not want to get on top of it. So you know, if that's the case, though, again, and she doesn't want to step up onto it, we'll have to probably pick her up. But in her old age too, we don't want to like try and stress, like, you know, or like pick her up awkwardly. So more than likely it might even take the 2 of us to get her on top of it, me and Matthew. Again, I have no clue. I'm just preparing for it, but we know for sure that Matthew is going to go with anyway, but I will probably go with as well, just because she needs some, you know, like I said, probably some extra TLC as far as possibly picking her up and moving her around and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she is next Friday. So anyways, though, guys, like I said, the experience was so far kind of what I expected too. Like they were saying too, like Charlie, you know, he didn't end up like doing anything or, you know, anything in the back when they were trying to do his nails, other than he was just freaked out, and that was kind of what I expected. Whereas I expected Bravo to possibly be a little like, you know, protective, I guess, of his feet, and he was a little bit. So that's why we figured that with Bravo. Like if he gets in a corner, he's not a dog that likes to be cornered, I guess. And Charlie is a dog that will try and escape you any means necessary. Whereas we, like I said, was very, very much on display at the vet these last couple days between the both of them. And so that's what ended up happening. Like I said, he's just, I feel bad for him. Like, I felt bad for Bravo too, but like Charlie just seems like more, like it affected him a lot more. And like I said too, just, it's weird. He seems more of like an emotional dog than Bravo is. Whereas like I was saying, like Bravo can forget things very quickly. Charlie like remembers them, like, and I want to say it's almost like empathetic kind of too, more, and like he's much more like I said, like emotional over things, and you know, like, and very curious and that kind of stuff. So I think he knew like this is not probably a good place. I'm scared of it. I don't want to be here. Which is probably right, because they did a lot of stuff that he doesn't like getting his nails done and all that kind of stuff. And so and he was just around strange people, and there were several dogs, and I think more than when Bravo was there in the vet's office. It's funny, when we took the guinea pigs, I think there was just one lady with the dog leaving. We were like the only people there. And then when we took Bravo, there was like 2 dogs, no, I think there was like a total of 4 dogs between the whole time we were there with Bravo. And then with Charlie, there was at least 3 today, I think. So like I said, there was a lot more these last 2 days, but like again too, today he was just very like, you know, curious like of the other dogs, and you know, I think anxious too, because again, you think about it, it's like the dogs are in a space where, like, you know, in like a not super confined, like the lobby's pretty big, but you know, a little bit more of a confined space with other animals, and they're trying to, again, to like, for him especially, it's like I want to figure out how to get out of here in case I need to, you know, in case this dog comes after me, how do I get out of here? And so like he's like always looking for the escape route. And so and that was, like I said, definitely how I think what he displayed today with the vet and, you know, all that kind of stuff as well. But just all those kind of different things, the different people, the different animals, all that kind of stuff is just probably a lot for them. And that's why not only just going to the vet and having to go through all that, but then all of the new things, the smells, the people, the animals, that kind of stuff, I'm, again, too, obviously very anxiety inducing. But again, for Charlie, it seems like it hits different just because of the type of personality I think he has than Bravo. Whereas, like I said, Bravo came home and could have forgotten that we were even at the vet. So anyways, though, I'm going to take a shower and get to bed. I will see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see y'all for sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.